Alright guys, so this fine morning we are in Ohio. It is snowy around. There's a couple of inches of snow. It's not a whole lot. Luckily it hasn't snowed much since we've been here. Right now we're in my grandma's Corolla. Last night I went to start up the truck. The battery was entirely dead. I couldn't get the spin over properly. So I got my in-laws jump pack. Hopefully we can get it started, see if the battery's any good anymore. If not, we'll have to go to Napa. I think they may prorate batteries, so I may have to spend like 50 bucks and maybe grab a new battery. Right now we're on our way to Walmart. We're going to go get some oil, a new oil filter, some brake fluid, and then get headed to Grandma's house. Unfortunately, when I swapped the brake lines on it, I believe I swapped them with copper lines. Some people advised me that it wasn't copper, blah, 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 but I'm not 100% sure. So if I can't make 100% sure, I bought some new lines, some nickel, copper, or whatever it is. We're going to replace the lines that I had replaced previously on the truck, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to bleed the brakes on my own, because Brittany's not with me currently. I don't really have anyone else to help me bleed them. So, we're going to try to get that taken care of, get the brake lines swapped out, get the oil changed in the truck, figure out if the battery's good or not, and go up and hopefully swap out the battery, and go from there, because I am hoping to drive my grandfather's truck home 550 miles. Now, it's a Dodge Dakota. It's a 1999 single cab Dodge Dakota. What's the gas like? We got to stop and get gas in this. So it may not mean much to anybody else, but it means a lot to me, because it was my grandfather's truck and my grandmother gave it to me when he passed away. And I would like to, over the next few months, maybe a couple of years, completely restore it and everything. It has a V6 in it. I like the V6, but a little bit better on gas mileage than my Sierra. But we will kind of see how everything ends up going and go from there. But first we got to get some gas in the car real quick, because we are on E. Alright guys, so we pulled the truck in. It's on the ramps and everything. Sorry about not having more of that in it. But right now we're filling up the oil. Changed the oil and everything. I don't quite know. Gosh dang. That will not come loose. Don't quite know the last time that the oil had been changed. Probably when, probably last when my grandfather was alive, at some point. But oil, I need to put new oil in. The old oil is drained out of it. We do have a few issues. Power, I guess I did put different brake lines on it already, but we have spare brake lines in case we ever need them. I'll probably go through, search all the rusted ones and stuff and replace it at a later date, just so they're all fresh and new. But we have a power steering leak currently, and then we have a slight coolant leak, which I think it's because one of the hose clamps like cracked or released itself or whatnot. So we're gonna replace that hose clamp. I called around, I found a power steering line at O'Reilly's, but they're not going to have it till later today, so we'll probably have to work on that tomorrow. But if you guys see, I don't know if the GoPro will show you guys, but if you look down in there, you can see a little leak. The high pressure power steering line's leaking. I noticed it when I had started the truck. The power steering was not as strong as I thought it should be. So I got a new one order of that. It's like 26 bucks or something through O'Reilly's. And I had a $15 gift card that I've been needing to use because it expires on the 15th. So we're gonna finish putting oil back in here. I'm gonna have to cut those ends off because that line is so rusted in there. So I'm gonna cut the line off and then use sockets to get it out so I don't strip the heads on everything out. And then we will go from there. But right now, those are the only two issues that I'm noticing at the moment. And we'll keep working at it. I mentioned it's cold. It's very cold. Very, very cold. Now, the one thing that I've always loved about this motor, because my Dodge Dakota that I had about 2 years ago had the same 3.9, is that it uses under, how many quarts is this? This is, what, 5 quarts? It uses under 5 quarts of oil. It's like, gosh, now I can't quite remember exactly how many it is, but I'm pretty sure it's like 4.8 or something. Which is just awesome, because then you technically don't need to buy extra. I bought extra just so we have extra oil on the way home. I don't know if it's going to burn oil. It doesn't smoke or anything. So we may be fine, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. In worst case, I apply it to the next oil change we do. So this should use all of this oil. At the very least, the majority of it and all. Obviously it's on ramps, so it may not be the most accurate at the current moment. So we'll fill it, use most of the bottle, and then we'll wait until it's level to try to get it entirely full. All right, we'll leave it right about there. It's a little under safe, or a little under full at the moment. Gosh, we still have quite a bit left. Yeah, let's pour some more in there. All right, should be good to go from there. Oil is changed. It's one thing I really want to get done on it. Now, next step, cut this power steering line out. Then we'll get the clamp, but the clamp's an easy thing to do. Me and my grandfather replaced the heater core, so that's the new heater core we put on it. Now we got to try to get this dang power steering line taken out. Okay, 18mm side. There we go. I'm making a mess, but that's typical. All right, so we are back with some new stuff. Power steering line, new battery. Seems to fit in there pretty nicely. And I don't know what happened to the latch for it, but I don't have it right now. So, first thing is first, gotta get this darn power steering line on there, which would be a lot easier if I had my headlamps. Give me one second. Okay, so, new power steering line. Guys, this is the next morning. So I fixed the power steering line. I realized that the brake lines I had on the truck were probably the right brake lines, it appears to be. They match the same color of the nickel copper brake lines that I had purchased. So I checked the fluids and everything, I topped everything off, and we're on our way to North Carolina. It's about a 9-hour trip. We're just leaving my grandmother's house. We're hoping to arrive between 5 and 6 o'clock, depending on how many stops we make. I'd like to stop twice. I don't know how much oil the truck uses or how much it burns or leaks or whatnot, and I'd like to kind of keep a close view on it and all. I have quite a bit of extra oil. I also have coolant and everything as well, so we'll kind of keep going, see how it goes, and go from there. Stopped for our first fill up, 11 gallons, $30, not too bad. But if you can hear me, we are on our way home. We just filled up about 11.3 gallons, I think, 30 bucks. It's not too bad. We're about, I'd say not quite 1/3. I'd say maybe a little between a quarter and a third of the way home. So far so good. I checked all the oil and everything. We haven't lost a substantial or noticeable amount of oil. We haven't lost any coolant or anything as far as I can see, and there were no drips underneath. We're still maintaining good temperature, good oil pressure. Battery seems to be charging and all. We haven't stalled or anything, had any issues with that. The exhaust leak definitely needs fixed. I just did not have enough time to kind of diagnose it and fix it in 2 days. So we're in Riley's neck of the woods right now in Cambridge, Ohio. My Uncle Lee also lives there. and hopefully we can get another 3 or so hours down before we have to fill up again. Right now I'm planning for 2 stops, but we'll probably have to make 3, with our last one being pretty close to home. And so far so good. Well, everybody, it's a couple days later now. We managed to get the truck home successfully. It went really well, all things considered. I don't know, it was actually a pretty good trip home. I was a little worried that it maybe wouldn't be as smooth. Maybe we'd have issues or stuff, and that's why I packed quite a bit of extra stuff. We had a whole extra thing of oil, of brake cleaner, or brakes fluid, power steering fluid, just about anything that you could think of. And everything went great. As you saw, we drove through quite a bit of snow. The truck didn't have any issues. Luckily, I think my mom had put new tires on here a couple of years ago for my grandpa. But I was really nervous. I was really nervous, really anxious and everything about driving the truck home. The truck really hadn't been driven regularly in a good 6, maybe even 7 years. With my grandfather getting older and all, he didn't necessarily have the ability to keep up with it like he used to. My grandfather was 82 years old when he passed away in 2024 now. My grandfather was my hero. That's why I made them videos with the tractor stuff, just because it was nice to have something to remember him by and see him by and everything. The past few years I brought his Gravely down, I brought his 8N down. So this is kind of the last big piece of his stuff that my grandmother had given me that I needed to bring down. So it's pretty exciting to finally have it down here and everything. He loved this truck. He called it his little Hemi. It has the 3.9 liter V6 in it. We got about 19 to 20 miles per gallon on the way down here. Obviously we didn't have a trailer or anything behind us, but it did good considering all things considered. I really expected something to go wrong considering how long it sat. But everything was great. I've driven it a couple of times since we've had it home. I've put some gas in it and everything. And it's been great so far. It definitely isn't my Sierra. Like, no truck quite compares to the Sierra and all, but gosh, like, it just feels good to finally have the truck down here. I've been excited to bring it down since my grandmother gave it to me about 1.5 years ago. It's nice to have another truck that's a little bit better on gas to drive around and stuff. I can kind of swap back and forth between the trucks as needed. My truck will still be my main towing truck and all, but I can pull my little trailer with this. The other day, you guys may not have noticed, or maybe you did when I first started up, it had a pretty bad exhaust manifold leak. In the last few years, my grandfather and I replaced the heater core in it. We replaced the exhaust manifold, but I may have mentioned it. We broke a drill bit off in one of the bolt holes. So at some point I'll weld a nut onto it and get that fully removed. But for now, I put a new gasket on and everything, and it quieted it down quite a bit. Two things I still need to do to the truck. It needs a new muffler. Right behind the muffler back, besides that, it's pretty rust free, but the muffler has multiple holes in it, and then the exhaust tailpipe out the back has quite a few holes in it, so I need to replace those. We have a local muffler shop that they put a new exhaust from catalytic converter back on my other Dakota for like $220, so I don't see why this would be any more than that. So I need to get a new exhaust put on it, and then I need to replace the steering shaft, the steering wheel shaft that controls to that connects the steering wheel to the rack and pinion. That needs replaced because it's pretty rusty, and I think the U-joints are shot in it, so the steering's a little loose at the moment. It's nothing major. I've driven vehicles with worse, but those are two things that I'd really like to fix. I'd like to rewrap the headliner in it, just because that's one of the only parts of the interior that really like shows its age. Like I said, the truck has 226,000 miles on it now with us driving it home, and it drove home great. It doesn't smoke or anything. It didn't lose any substantial amounts of oil. It didn't lose any coolant. It just has the exhaust leaks right now, so we'll fix that over the next few weeks. But I'm just so happy to have it down here. I'm just waiting on an excuse to put something in the bed of it. I cleared out the bed. I had everything loaded in here. Luckily with the camper shell, you have quite a bit of space, but I brought home a big air compressor my grandfather had, a press so I can replace some of the bushings and bearings in some of my vehicles. I brought home a vacuum pump that he had and the air conditioning recharge hose system he had, because I want to fix the air conditioning on this truck at some point before summer. It's too hot down here to not have air conditioning. And we'll go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you'd like to see more, I really enjoy making these videos and I really enjoy working on stuff. It kind of combines the things that I love the most about the things that I love being a videographer. It's my favorite thing in the world, but I also love working on stuff because it just recaptures that love I have for mechanical stuff that my grandfather introduced me to. So I really love making the videos on it and everything. Let me know what you'd like to see me do next. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful week and a wonderful Christmas if I don't see you guys before then. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out, homies.